two
สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ
Today we're here to make a statement in English about the reported deportation of 3 prominent Thai anti-monarchy dissidents from Vietnam. Dr. Pyingdin already made this statement in Thai, and now we want the English world to also know. This is a statement that was written after consultation with all the Thai Alliance for Human Rights committee members and board members.
This is a written statement following an official live broadcast by our representative on May the 9th, 2019. We, the Committee of the Thai Alliance for Human Rights, are very concerned about the fate of Mr. Chu Cheep Chivasut, aka Sanam Luang, and 2 associates, namely Mr. Sayam Thirawut and Mr. Kritsana Thap Thai, who have been silent on social media for months and according to 2 credible sources were arrested in Vietnam about a month ago and have just been deported to Thailand in the late afternoon of May the 8th of 2019. Soon after our first broadcast alerting all concerned about the incident, there was a news report at Nao Na indicating that, in quote, a Thai FBI or international security source insists after its initial investigation that the Thai authorities did not lead to an arrest of the 3 individuals and did not cooperate in any way with the Vietnamese authorities. In addition, it was claimed they didn't know the whereabouts of the group or which country they are residing in, and that they wondered why such news was released at this time and for what purpose. Meanwhile, the families of the men already went to the police and were told that the Thai FBI had no information about the deportation, and the police even refused to officially file their report, as documented at prachathai.com. The charges against them are as yet unknown. But if the report that they have been deported back to Thailand is true, we demand that the 3 be treated according to the national and international rules of law, and especially the Universal Declarations of Human Rights. Specifically, they must be presumed innocent until proven guilty in courts. They each must also be given a fair and open trial with rights to lawyers, assistance, and bails. And importantly, they must not, as is feared, be extrajudicially tortured, poisoned, or assassinated for their dissenting and bold political views broadcast through shows on social media. And
The reason we are concerned is that Sanam Luang is a Thai Lese Majesty refugee closely associated with 5 other Thai Lese Majesty refugees who disappeared in Laos over the past 2 years. All 5 are believed to have been assassinated, and for the 3 most recently killed, in December, we have DNA evidence of their brutal murder from 2 mutilated bodies found floating in the Mekong River. Yet another mutilated body was found in the river and then suspiciously lost. Whether this was a 3rd body or a body that was found again later downstream is unclear. In fact, at the time of the 3 most recent assassinations, our organization used connections to Sanam Luang as evidence that all 5 of the murdered dissidents in Laos had been systematically assassinated by the state rather than randomly murdered. Number 1, 28-year-old Itipun Sukopan, or DJ Zunho, disappeared on June 22, 2016, after being pulled off his motorcycle and into the woods. He had done a show with Sanam Luang, sarcastically titled Tien Teng Jiao, or Arguing on Behalf of the King. Number 2, About 1 year later, on July 29, 2017, Wutipong Kachatamakum, or Goti, or Manoi, was kidnapped in the presence of witnesses who were also tied up and blindfolded. They report he was tasered, and the last words heard from him were, "Oh, I can't breathe." Manoi had for a time lived in the same house with Sanam Luang in Laos. And number 3, Mr. Surachai Danwatana Nuson, or Surachai Sedan, Mr. Chan Bukawan, or Puchana, and Mr. Gradet Lulert, or Gasalong, all disappeared December 12 or 13, 2018. They were last heard from on December 11, and their mutilated bodies were found in the Mekong on December 26. This was the body that was released again into the river. And on December 27, this was Puchana. And on December 29, this was Gasalong, all on the Thai side of the river. Surachai had lived with Sanam Luang a short while, and the two were friends before a falling out over strategy 4 or 5 years ago. Also, immediately before the bodies of Surachai, Puchana, and Gasalong were found, the Thai Alliance for Human Rights had been writing to international organizations about the kidnapping on December 8 of Sanam Luang's wife and son in Thailand. See alert, wife and son of international dissident Sanam Luang kidnapped in Thailand, at our website. The wife and son, Ms. Ladawan Chiwasut, age 62, and Mr. Sudawat Chiwasut, age 31, were held about a week and released. In retrospect, we realized that the harassment of Sanam Luang's non-political wife and son in Thailand was taking place simultaneously with the kidnapping of Surachai, Puchana, and Gasalong in Laos, which we did not learn about until after the fact. We guessed that the Thai state was trying to silence the loudest critics of the monarchy in advance of the royal coronation, and would have arrested Sanam Luang himself had he not been out of their reach. Days before the killing of Manoi in 2017, and days before the killing of Surachai, Puchana, and Gasalong in 2018, all the Thai refugees in Laos were warned to run and hide because of state-sponsored hit squads expected to arrive from Thailand. DJ Zunho, Manoi, Surachai, and Sanam Luang each believed they were being hunted and that there was a price on their head. Sanam Luang took great precautions against being assassinated, including having bodyguards. In fact, we believed that he had escaped Laos and was in a safe country at the time of the assassinations of Surachai, Gasalong, and Puchana. In any case, weeks after the mutilated bodies of his colleagues were found floating in a river, he was still speaking out loudly against the dictatorship and the monarchy, as in the English language statement attached, which one of us was asked to edit January 5, titled Thai Federation Bulletin, Rejection of Coronation of Thai King Rama X, which quotes from the U.S. Declaration of Independence. Thus, in quotes, thus, we, the Thai Federation, are looking for change from this dictatorial and fascist governing model, meaning the Thai monarchy, to a model of federalism, such as that of the United States of America, where citizens hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Because of his boldness in the face of, that was end quote. Because of his boldness in the face of danger, it was odd and concerning when Chiwasut, Sanam Luang, and all his associates all went silent on all social media right around January 27. Perhaps that is the date he was arrested in Vietnam while traveling to escape the hitmen he believed were after him. If somehow our information about his arrest in Vietnam and recent recent extradition to Thailand is wrong, the silence of someone usually so outspoken nevertheless indicates a dire situation. The international community should come to the aid of all these refugees and offer them a third country to go to. Details of Ma Noy's assassination in many ways compare to that of the killing of Washington Post journalist and Saudi Arabian anti-monarchist Jamal Khashoggi a year later, October 2018, an assassination that would shock and outrage the world. For instance, their last recorded words are the same. Tony? For instance, their last recorded words are the same, I can't breathe, and both were reporting anti-monarchist news and opinions leading directly to their assassinations. The horrific deaths of Surachai, Gasalong, and Puchana drew international attention at last to the plight of the Thai Lese Majesty refugees in Laos and throughout the world. We plead with the international community to turn their attention to this matter before Chuchip Chuwasut Sanam Luang, Mr. Sayam Tirawu, and Mr. Kritsana Tap Thai are also extrajudicially murdered. As for these last three Thai political refugees assassinated, Surachai, Puchana, and Gasalong, their faces were smashed in, hands tied together, abdomens disemboweled and stuffed with concrete, and they were wrapped in sacks like mummies and tossed into the Mekong River. It is surmised that the sacks trapped the gases from the decay of the bodies, causing the bodies to rise to the surface where they were found, contrary to the intentions of the assassins. The junta has strongly discouraged reporting on this case and has monitored the public memorials for the victims. Several Thai refugees in Laos claim that they were shown an actual hit list that included their own names near the top. Two of the people on that list have now been assassinated, bringing these people's own names closer to the top of the list. Members of the band Phi Yen in particular are receiving credible death threats. These are talented young entertainers who write and perform songs opposing the monarchy and supporting democracy. They are ordinary people with pro-democracy and liberal views, as can be witnessed at the website musicofthai.freedom.com, where many of their songs are translated to make the situation transparent to the world. Please demand justice for Sanam Luang before 3 more people are killed simply for broadcasting political information and opinion. When the world does nothing, the Thai state may believe it can operate with impunity, even crossing international borders and making deals with other states to eliminate the Thai Lese Majesty refugees. Criticizing the government is not only a human right, it is very often a duty. It can prevent further injustice and increase government accountability. Please stand up now for the international human rights of Sanam Luang, Sayam Tirawu, Kritsana, Tap Thai, and all the many other Thai Lese Majesty refugees throughout the world. Somebody cut.
Thank you very much, Anne. All right. After the official statement read, maybe we could talk a little bit about certain things to our foreign friends.
Yes.
Just make it natural now. Do you have
Yes.
any question on behalf of international friends who might be listening to this broadcast?
Do you mean, do I guess what they're wondering about?
Right.
Well, it's been known that Sanam Luang has been silent for a long time, and whenever these situations happen, there's always a tension between announcing the problem and drawing attention to people who are trying to hide, or not mentioning the problem and then letting a problem go unnoticed by the world. And that has been a problem, as each of these refugees has been assassinated. The first one, DJ Zunho, when it was just one person, it was perhaps plausible that, okay, maybe it wasn't a state-sponsored assassination. Maybe it was just bad guys. Who knows? Then when Manoy was assassinated, there was many people who begged us not to get into it because that would draw attention to the other refugees who lived near him. And our organization decided to make a big deal of it on the human rights principles that everybody has human rights. It's not like we get to pick and choose which refugees most deserve our attention. We pay attention to every extrajudicial killing because it sets a horrible precedent and you never know who's going to be next. So both for Manoy and for every other refugee that they might come after next, we did make a big deal. We recorded everything we could find about that assassination, and we ignored the people who told us to stop. When Surachai, Gasalong, and Puchana were assassinated, it surprised everybody. We weren't expecting it. We had actually been expecting Manoy to be assassinated, and we actually had been expecting Sanam Luang also to be assassinated. Instead, it was Surachai and two other people that were his associates. Those people were very close, or at least close friends with Yami, who is in the band Phi Yen. Yami, at that point, decided to be very loud and to talk about all the assassinations. And people told her to be quiet, and she got death threats. And even when I published a news article about it, I got a editorial published in the Washington Post. In the comments, I had to delete death threats against Yami because not only do they, the powers that be think they have the right to assassinate people who criticize them, they think they have the right to harass the people who simply say what happened to them. So if Yami says, this was my friend and somebody murdered him and disemboweled him and wrapped him up like a mummy and threw him in the river, shame on her for bringing it up. Because that makes the Thai state look bad. We don't go along with any of this. And as far as the international community, I think that it's time for the international community to look this in the face. And I know that the international community likes to go to Thailand for tourism, and I'm not telling them they shouldn't. But instead of just believing the happy story only, realize there are two aspects to Thailand. It's a happy place for some people, and it's a very unhappy place for other people. And this sort of stuff, it doesn't just affect the people immediately affected. It is done for the purposes of silencing everyone, even in the United States. There are Thai lèse-majesty refugees in the United States, yourself included, who are affected by this. And the fact that the Thai government can be menacing people in their neighboring countries, Vietnam and Laos and Cambodia, that's bad. But I don't even know that the world also understands that they can menace people in Europe, in the United States, and other places. And that is what they are doing. And it is time to draw attention to this and try to save the remaining lèse-majesty refugees. Now that includes Sanam Luang, who may be alive, and his two associates, Sayam Tirawu and Kritsana Taptai. They may be alive today, or they may not be. but you know, we know that with the last three who went missing, Surachai, Puchana, and Gasalong, the best guess is that they were alive for a few days, taken to the other border, and then assassinated on that side, thrown in the river from that side, which is where they were found, on the Thai side. So if the Thai government has these people, they may be expecting it's going to be very quiet. But it's not going to be very quiet, because there's a whole bunch of journalists who have been following this story, and when they get a new lead that yet 3 more people have been assassinated, that will be the next big story. Or even if 3 people might be assassinated. So if the Thai government does have these people, it's in their best interest to do this out in the open. Whatever thing that they are going to accuse these people of, they should do it openly and let the world see the trial. And I know that's how you feel about it.
Actually, that's a big question for us all. I think whether we should talk about a case that has just happened or there's rumor about it. As an organization working on human rights, I think we have the obligation to really think carefully about this, whether to talk about a particular case. The most important thing is we want to save lives. We want to prevent murder. We want to prevent human rights abuses. So there's a question actually from the media that report that we just mentioned in the statement earlier. แนวหน้า I believe. In the report, citing the statement from the national security officers that the FBI, I would say, that they consulted their source, in other words. It raises question about us, our motive for raising this case when they deny knowing anything about the deportation, or they deny their involvement in leading to the arrest of these 3 individuals. So with that question asked, then our job here is to answer as well. And one thing though, before I answer, I think it's really interesting that the news report came almost immediately after our broadcast yesterday. I was the one breaking the news after over almost 2 hours of meeting with the board and executive committee members. We decided to move forward in exposing the news, breaking the news about the reported deportation of the 3 individuals, believing that the news will stop any potential harm or even murder, assassination of these 3 individuals. The records have spoken clearly about how dangerous, how fatal the authorities have been in the previous 5 cases in Laos. And in fact, as we are speaking, I know for sure that a prominent red shirt leader has fled Cambodia with a clear signal, clear warning from the top authorities in the country, saying that they can no longer protect these people residing or hiding in their countries. It's happening across ASEAN countries right now. The junta dares to send the representatives to this country, telling them, deport them, send them to us, or we will take them by our own means. So it is really, really scary. And not that I'm scared or I fear anything, but I think to a lot of people who cannot defend themselves, this is a scary scenario for them. And if what happens to Sanam Luang, what I fear right now, Anne, is that almost immediately after the release of the news, there's a reaction from the media that are pretty much state. Uh, well, I'm not gonna say sponsored by the state, but they are friendly to the junta. Let's say that they are conservative news agencies. They came out almost immediately, including Nation and Nelna. They would come out broadcasting something, that I did not want to expect at all. That is, they deny any knowledge of what happened in Vietnam. So that can only mean that, well, maybe two things. Number one, to be fair, that they actually did not receive any report, and the question was asked to the wrong guy. Let's say that, right? The authorities in charge probably didn't really get the report yet from officers elsewhere along the border, but the other possibility is that they had a malicious plan, let's say that, and the plan was already executed. So if that is really the case, it's gonna be like other cases that you just mentioned, and that they would try to deflect its attention from reality. So like the case of Ajahn Surachai, there would be this person, that person coming in saying, oh, he's still alive, we heard, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, now, or more than 1 month after the election, even after the coronation, there's no Surachai Saidan to be seen.
Yeah.
So I think what we are doing is exactly what we have to do in order to save lives.
Yeah. And if you ask why do we do it, I pulled up right here the letter that we translated from the wife of Surachai Saidan before the bodies were found. And so there was a brief moment there where maybe he was alive. Maybe he was alive while she was making this plea. And she said, I feel so worried and concerned about Surachai Saidan, who has gone silent and disappeared for 2 weeks. I can't contact him. Usually I can contact him online. I always watch his videos every Tuesday and read his messages online. I fear that danger has befallen him, just like the case of DJ Zunho. And even now there is no further progress. But anyway, Surachai used to say in videos last year that he had a price of 10 million baht, which is $300,000 on his head. And so he should be careful and not go out and around, that he should just hide where he is. When I learned the news from reading Line of Kundong Adachai from Yami and from many other groups, I became more worried and concerned that he and 2 other younger people had fallen into danger even to their lives. I feel so stressed, I can't sleep. I pray and pray and pray, asking to keep them from danger. I keep the hope that after the election we can have democracy and things will improve and he can finally come home to live peacefully. I implore those who are involved in the disappearance of Surachai and 2 younger people, please don't harm them to the point of killing them. Just release them. From Ba Noi, the wife of Surachai, Saidan, Don Watana Nuson. And that's why we do it. Because there are people who are very worried that these people may be alive and that they may not be alive in a few days if the government thinks they can kill people with impunity. And so we just want the government to know they're not going to be able to do anything with impunity, because we're following the case closely, we're alerting the media, and a lot of people are interested in this, and a lot of people are horrified by this, and this is actually a very bad time for Thailand to get bad press. Because Thailand wants good press at this time.
Clearly, yes. And, with the coronation, it's just been finished. People want to, and also it's after an election. Maybe we might get a new government, although it's probably going to be Prayut again. But Prayut is not really going to be a free man with a free ride, with all Article 44 that will allow him to do anything, to be on top of everything. He's gonna be cornered in many situations on many fronts. But yeah, I mean, right now we have to speak about what is happening, and we cannot deny the fact that lives are in danger right now.
Yeah.
Yep, these unfortunate people who are just, political dissidents. That's probably the strongest words we could put. They
Yeah.
have no weapons. They have no connection. Well, I can't say that, but they are connected to the a group of pro-democracy population of Thailand, but it's not even the majority of the people in the country, right? These active political activists are, as in any country, the minority of people. They are just like in what? I don't think there are more than 1 million of us who are actually very active and still active. And among all this 1 million people, maybe the only people who are really, really active, you can count the heads, right? You can find only tens of us who are still vocal about what's happening in Thailand. And we don't mean to harm the country. I say we because I'm one of them. They don't mean to harm the country. They criticize, and speeches cannot kill people, right?
Right.
And for the government and even the monarch and the monarchy, they do have the press, they do have media to really work on their behalf. I mean, if there's anything that they need to come out and confront, they can always do it, and they have plenty, budget, people, expertise, resources, anything you name it. They have everything to fight against these people. But why are they going after all these people and trying to kill them, trying to get rid of them? You look at all. Okay, let me ask you one question. And out of all these 5 dissidents in Laos that have been believed to, to be the victims of assassination, state-sponsored assassinations, what are these people seen in common in your eyes? What do they have in common?
Well, the thing that they have in common is that they are brave enough to speak against the monarchy, and a lot of people speak against the dictatorship. And of course, the dictator Prayut tries to squelch that, and but he can't totally squelch it. And there's just too many people opposed to the dictatorship. But there's only a small minority of people brave enough to say out loud that they oppose the monarchy. Not that a lot of people don't oppose the monarchy, they just have to be very, very quiet about it. And those few people who come out and say exactly what they think end up having to flee the country. And I can totally relate to it because it's similar to atheism. In this country, it's not very popular to be an atheist, but about 15% of the population might be non-religious. And so I'm an atheist, and those of us who say it out loud, until recently, that was very, very much discouraged. Now, something similar is going on in Thailand, except for, multiplied by 1,000. If you say something against the king, it's kind of a taboo. Plus, there's a law that anyone who says anything negative about the king can get 3 to 15 years in jail. Manoi, the thing that he had to flee the country for saying on a news show was that he said that King Bhumibol was behind all of the coups, and he just like pointed to a picture of King Bhumibol. He said, you know who I'm talking about. And he pointed to a picture and he said it to an international news reporter. So for saying that Bhumibol was behind everything, he had to flee the country. He ended up dying one day after the king's birthday. You know, tasered to death, maybe. Attacked by men at his own home, you know, dragged out of a car, dragged into his own home, blindfolded and tasered to death. And all because he said the king might be behind some coups. That's why I had to run and flee the country. Well, you know, you can't expect, and this is something that Port Fayen said on Facebook the other day, he said, you can't expect me to respect somebody who doesn't respect me. You can't, you know, everyone's saying you ought to respect the king. How can I do that, you know, if he's forced me to leave my country? Why would I respect that? Just for saying something that I think is true. And that, you know, I have the facts behind me. Manoy, after he disappeared, and you found this on Facebook, you said that 2 weeks before he died, he had an episode where he almost predicted his death. And can I read that back to you?
Okay.
Yes. So I hear an echo now. Do you want to do anything about that, or should I just talk more quietly? Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah, that will help, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
The problem with though, and it's not gonna go into the my microphone, which is gonna go live, right? I mean, go to the audience. So okay, let's see. I'm gonna reduce the volume a little bit.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead.
So the episode was called Fighting for a Free Federal State, Episode 3 of The King Sells Drugs, July 14, 2017, at minute 23 to 24:07. Now, I know enough Thai that I can follow along, especially once I know what it's about. And so it was very chilling to hear this, you know, directly, straight from the person who had just died, or straight from their mouth. He said, all these things I have presented in episodes so they won't be boring. I have done this firstly because we don't have weapons, no tanks, M16, AKA, or submarines. So we use this small media channel to condemn the wrongdoings of the monarch as all the media surrender in silence and fear. So I, Manoy, have to do this. I have told you many times I will not be discouraged to fight with the royal regime, although there are obstacles, such as being hunted by the king's servants who have spent an enormous amount of money to have someone shoot at my head or slit my throat, so that I won't be able to speak and persuade you, the people, to rise up and topple the monarchy. And that's what he said in a show in which he was making the case that the king sells drugs. Now, of course, you know, the Thai state does not want anyone putting on a news show presenting evidence that the king sells drugs. Now, I don't know if he does or he doesn't, but the evidence should be able to be put out there and debated. Now, that doesn't happen. There's only one side of a story that's ever presented in the Thai media, and unless we count the dissidents.
And there's one other question I would like to ask you on behalf of some Thais as well. They look at you and they know you are a Farang, not a Thai.
Yeah.
And why are you so passionate about Thailand? That's number one thing. And then also then specifically, why are you so daringly against the Thai monarchy? Because you've done this since King Rama IX, right? And now King Rama X, you remain quite critical about the monarchy. Of course, coming into Thai Alliance for Human Rights, of course, and as a human rights organization, we do have to be fair. We do have to be stick to our missions, which is basically to, of course, we know to prevent abuses, human rights abuses, to help to heal or cure or rehabilitate the victims, and then to build the conscience among the people about respect for human rights and all this. So how do you marry the principles of our organization as a human rights organization and your personal stance about the monarchy? How do they marry happily here?
Well, actually, I don't know if everyone's going to believe this, but, I don't dislike King Bhumibol. I read his biography, and I finished the biography, the one that's banned, and I thought that he was I wrote in the review, he probably did as good a job as he could have done being born into that situation. That's what I thought to myself. And I said, I don't know that I could have done better or would have done better had I been, put in his spot. Now, King Vajiralongkorn is another story. And at the beginning, we absolutely did treat King Vajiralongkorn like he might, be a new kind of king who would free the lèse majesty victims. That didn't happen at all. And when he announced that he needed to edit the Constitution before he was going to sign it, we all went, ooh, this might be good. This might be it. That didn't happen, as you know. He edited it just to give himself more power. There were so many ways he could have improved that Constitution for the good of the people. And he didn't do it. And he seems to be only concerned about himself. The reason that I got involved with this at all is because after I finished reading The King Never Smiles, which is the biography of Bhumibol, I posted a review on Amazon under my own name. And like I said, I think that I might not have been able to do any better, but King Bhumibol seems to have slowed down the transition to democracy, something like that. So I said something good and I said something bad, and I posted it on Facebook under my own name. And while I was reading that, it turned out that another American named Joe Gordon was in jail in Thailand for lèse majesty. And all he had done was translate some excerpts from that very same book that I was reading and that I had reviewed and posted on Facebook. He translated a few excerpts, put it on his website in the United States as an American, that goes to Thailand, trip, and is arrested and is stuck there for like a year and a half. And, he's still suffering the effects of that horrible, horrible experience to this day. And at that time, when, I finished the book, and then I find out, the American has been released. And, now we can find out what he did, because while they're in jail, all you know is they did something horrible, but you don't know what it was. He's released. The big surprise is, he read the book, The King Never Smiles. And I went, oh my God, that's what I did. So I wrote to him in support, and I said, I just want to write to you and tell you that I think that's horrible what's happened to you. I read the same book. I posted this review on Amazon, and he said, then you're in the same situation as me. You can never go back to Thailand. And I thought to myself, if I can never go back to Thailand, I might as well say anything I want to say. And at that point, I realized I was in a unique situation because I had no reason to go back to Thailand. And yet I could understand the language pretty well. And so therefore, I was in a position to say whatever. If somebody else says it, they're going to be thrown in jail for 15 years. If I say it, nothing happens to me. So that gave me the obligation to do it because it cost me so little relative to what it costs anybody else to do it.
And I think you have done it quite responsibly as well. So I give you respect for that. I mean, it's not like you are exercising your freedom without care. Everything you said is based on, is evidence based, and is constructive. Is in accordance with international rule of law, or even Universal Declaration of Human Rights, even before you join TAHR. So thank you very much for caring a lot about Thailand, for having done so much for Thailand. On behalf of all Thais that in my circle, they appreciate what you have done for Thai community, both overseas and back in Thailand.
Yeah, and I want to say, in this country, I'll just speak to Americans right now. There's so many people here who are spending, $300 to go see the musical Hamilton. Okay, I love the musical Hamilton. I love Alexander Hamilton. I loved Alexander Hamilton before the musical was written. But you know what? I know the Alexander Hamiltons of Thailand, and that's better than going and seeing a musical. And that's why I do it. I never thought that I would know the founding fathers of Thai democracy or any country's democracy, but I know that. I know those people, and so that is one of the rewards for me. And the other thing that impresses me is that some of these people are, they'll really wow you. Some of these people strike me as people who are maybe ordinary like myself, who stumbled into this. Whatever their story is, I can totally understand how, if I was in that situation, I would have said, hey, wait, look what's going on. And the next thing you know, the government is kicking you out of the country. Poor Yami, all she did was she made
sang a song,
jokey song about something the dictator did. He used the army to go and capture all these plastic bowls that were souvenirs given out by, Thaksin Shinawatra. And he used, the army to go in and remove plastic bowls from people's houses. These things cost about $1, and they said have millions on them. And he said it was a threat to national security because they were
weapon of mass destruction.
So they were present from his rival, so therefore they were a threat to national security. So got a red bowl and had Fayen band write a song, and she sang it and danced around with a red bowl. Next thing you know, she's being hunted. There's literally newspaper articles that say, we're hunting for Yami Red Bull, and she had to flee the country and stay there. She can't talk to her family. She'll put them in danger. It's all insanity. And so I have to side with those people because I know those people.
Yeah. Well, talking about Nong Yam, it's really...
Yeah.
It's sad to see a girl with a lot of potential. I think she's beautiful. She's still young, and very, very clever. And she has great heart. She has a great heart. She has future, lying ahead of her. But given the situation, I'm really hoping that UNHCR is going to go into Laos soon enough to give these people the protection that they deserve. The situation right now, I mean, we can go on, but I think this is really something I didn't expect at all. Us having a conversation like this, and then people can hear, about not just about our thoughts, but about the realities out there about Thai dissidents and about Thai politics and all that. Maybe we should think about more serious about doing this more regularly. Actually, for the fans out there, today we just planned to read the statement, and that's all, and maybe just a little bit as a closure. but it turns out to be something more engaging than I thought. And there's much more actually. Anne and I have had conversations for a long time. How many years now that we've been in touch and working together for at least 2 years? But
Yeah.
I think we've known each other since before that, I think.
It might be, 2.5 years, something like that.
Yeah. All right, then maybe we can arrange sometime like a weekly schedule, or once a week, or once a fortnight or something like that, to update our friends, our international friends about issues, and
Okay.
get them involved if they have information they want to share, they want to be part of the movement. Let me share one thing. My most recent experience in The Hague. I went there to attend the conference as we know it, and unfortunately you couldn't make it. But let me tell you how valuable, how supportive, how delightful it is to a Thai to know that some foreign friends really do care about Thailand. When I've been to places, and oftentimes, I cannot really find a true Thai friend that easily. Not because they don't want to be friends with me, only because they fear, right? They fear to be seen with me. But it's also because on my part, I'm also skeptical about people around me whom I do not know in advance, right?
Yeah.
A new face, let's say that.
Yes.
So it's kind of lonely on the route that I've taken, the course that I've been taking. But having a foreign friend supporting Thailand, and I can see, because you have no motivation, like a material motivation for what you do. It's basically out of your great heart. Going into The Hague, I met Marike, and it meant so much over there. I went to The Hague feeling a little lonely because I was there alone. Other committee members happened to have incidents that popped up on the last minute, or that a week before that they could not make it. Physical health, family business, and in your case, flight cancellation. But being in Europe, meeting Marike, it was pretty much like I had 10 friends out there. The loneliness, the despair that I may have, experienced in a much higher degree became nothing. And then I felt empowered on that day, and I felt really thankful. So I want to say to all friends out there, little gestures that you can give to us Thais who are fighting, it would mean a lot. It would go a long way. And Thailand is a beautiful country, and if you've been there, you love it. You were listening to me, it's highly likely that you have already visited Thailand and you are in love with Thais, Thai culture, Thai food, or Thai boxing, or Thai songs, right? So keep loving Thailand and Thai people, keep supporting Thailand, keep supporting Thai friends, but at the same time, we are in a deep trouble, and we need your help. So in whichever way that you can, please keep doing so to help us, anybody at all out there that you can, that hear me, okay? And will be forever thankful for all your support. And I think the world needs a little bit of everybody who can chip in order to make it a little better place, okay? And thank you everybody who has done everything they can for Thailand, and especially you as well too, Anne. All right, so we have come to the end. I guess you have something to say as well. Please go ahead.
Did it fly out of my head? It might have flown out of my head.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. But you've done a lot, and I think you are a goodwill ambassador for our organization from the U.S. And in fact, you have touched a lot of people's lives. What you have done to help people, it's just amazing. One Farang can do to impact changes in people's lives. And of course, the struggle is on, and we still keep fighting for the cause. And human rights is the label. Democracy is probably is to win. And
Yeah.
I'm thankful that you are here with us. And hopefully we'll have a program like this again in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what I was going to say is that, most of the Western democracies, I would say, 95% of the population would have the same views as like the tiny percent of the Thais who are dissidents. You know what I'm saying? So just normal opinions. You notice that Sanam Luang quoted from Declaration of Independence, and so these are just normal liberal opinions, and so it's also it's probably good to associate with some people who know where you're coming from, and that's most of us in the West. Totally understand your viewpoint, and so if I can just have the role of saying to somebody, you're not crazy, the situation is crazy, that's another one of my roles. So like someone like Court Fayen who says, I don't respect anybody who doesn't respect me, that's a completely normal attitude.
Right.
And
right.
If I can repost his post, that's just a minor thing to be able to stand with somebody. And when a lot of people want to stay away from the person accused, I have the luxury, it doesn't cost me anything to stand with that person and say, you know what, whatever they're accused of is baloney. That's what I can do, and it doesn't cost me anything, so that's what I do.
And for that, we thank you very much, Anne, and thank you for being on the program today. And by the way, let me introduce Anne. Anne is our past executive director for 2 years, and then she's now still working as deputy executive director and in charge of a lot of things. And right now, I think we are quite well recognized by foreign friends who care about Thailand, and the things that Anne has done along with the executive committee in the past 2 years has become quite evident to the international media and friends and organizations, human rights organizations. So thank you for all the services, and then we'll keep doing more and more as a chair of the board of directors. So I thank you again in public here, and to all members there. This is our lady who maybe you are Lady of Liberty from the US, showing the light to Thai people. Even มากเกินไป a little too much. Well, we deserve a little bit of something like that once in a while. ครับขอบคุณมากครับ Okay, we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot, all friends out there who are joining the program. We'll see you again next time. All right, bye bye.
Bye.
And
yes, did I not turn you off, really? Oh, sorry.
Here we go. Against dictatorship.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.